Hello to everyone. In this class we have to talk about reported questions. Remember that in English there are two big groups. They are divided into yes/no questions and WH questions. But in this occasion we have to talk about yes/no questions. Okay? Now we have to review the structure of these questions. How do we form questions? First of all, we have to talk about direct speech. Remember that direct speech is used when we have to report something using the exact words of the speaker. Okay? Now, you have some examples in direct speech. The first one is, "Are you okay?" And the second one is, "Do you have any homework today?" Now, check please the structure. This word is the verb. You is the subject. And the word okay is the complement. In this occasion, we don't have auxiliary because we are working with the verb to be. And remember, the verb to be doesn't need auxiliaries. Other example is, "Do you have any homework today?" Now guess what is do? What is the function of do in this sentence? Okay, do is the auxiliary. The word you is the subject. The word have is the verb. And any homework today corresponds to the complement. Don't forget that the question needs a question mark, and also they are between quotations because it is in direct speech. Now, also, these structures are for action words. What are action words? Action words are any verb, okay? Now pay attention because the main topic of this part is reported speech. Now, how do we report the sentences? The first sentence says, "She asked me if I was okay." Now pay attention in the structure. You have to use an introductory sentence. She asked me. In that occasion, we are talking about yes/no questions. For that reason, we have to use if for any question. And now pay attention what happened with the order of the sentence. I, because in this occasion the question is for you, and obviously I am asking about me. Say I, it is the subject. Was, replace the verb are, because in reported speech we come back one tense later. Okay, for that reason the verb here is in present simple. In this occasion is in past simple. Say was corresponds to the verb, and okay is the complement. Now notice that you don't use the question mark and don't use the quotation. When we report questions, we don't use a quotation mark, okay? And don't use a question mark because it forms a normal sentence, subject, verb, and complement. Pay attention what happened with the other example in reported speech. The teacher asked me if I had homework that day. The teacher asked me is the introductory sentence. Remember, the reporting verb in this occasion is asked. Don't forget the word if because it is a yes/no question, and pay attention what happened with the order of the sentence. I had homework that day. We have to use I because the teacher asked me. It's okay. You have to use the personal pronoun you. And in this case, we have to use the personal pronoun I. This corresponds to the subject. Had is the past form of have because this sentence is in present simple. It is using the auxiliary do. And in this occasion, when a sentence is in present simple, you have to report into past simple. Had, and after you have the complement. Homework that day. Pay attention in that part. Today is a time expression. If you remember the last class, do you notice it's that day? Also, when we report sentences or when we report speech, you have to change the time expressions. Now, what happened with the auxiliary do? In reported speech, the auxiliary disappeared because the auxiliary do is used only in questions. And in this occasion, this is not a question. It forms a normal sentence with subject, with verb, and complement. Now, let's practice, please. You have to practice about reported speech. You have to report the following yes/no questions. Pay attention. Question number 1. Do you study English? Question number 2. Did Susan go to the supermarket? Question number 3. Will you study medicine in this uni? Question number 4. Have you ever taken a train? Question number 5. Can she play the piano? Now, pay attention. Practice. How do you form this reported speech? Okay. Say, she asked me if. This is the introductory sentence. I studied English. Very well. You have to use I because the question is for you. You have studied because the auxiliary do is for present simple. For that reason, we have to change it to past simple. And the complement. In this case, we don't use the question mark and the quotations. Next sentence. He asked Susan if she had gone to the supermarket. Direct speech is in past simple. The reported speech is in past perfect. Next, Mary asked me if I would study medicine in that uni. Will change by good, and this change by that. Next, Charlie asked me if I had taken a train trip. Had ever taken is in present perfect. We have to report into past perfect. And finally, John asked her if she could play the piano. Now, in direct speech, you have to use can, and in reported speech, you have to use could. Now, I recommend you have to practice the verb chart for reported speech and the time expressions. Thanks, that's all for today.